Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius. Today's what day today? The 5th of September. There we go. 5th of September 2023. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear here for a little bit, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us, guys. So, now then, let's jump into the charts. I can see in the chat room there, extra lube, by Gala. Okay. Well, okay. Well, I'll see if we can buy that one, but not in this webinar. I don't cover stocks in this one, so you know. But anyway, look, let's pick up on these instruments that I have here on the right. So Nikkei 225, just a quick update. We had a good move here, and we got a nice hold up near this downside line, which I talked about. So now the big question is, can we see a break of this downside line? Well, if we get that, as I said before, I will get a little bit more comfortable with further upside. Look, I was already comfortable with the upside when we climbed above the 50-day EMA, but I was aiming for this downside line. So now if I want to go further north, then yes, I need to see a push above this downside line, and then yes, we could take it from there. But if this downside line somehow does, if this downside line continues to provide good resistance, well, maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. Look, we did get some movement here today in the Asian market. We had the Chinese Caixin manufacturing services PMI coming out, and of course the RBA interest rate. But I'll get to that in a bit when I jump into the China 50 and the ASX 200. But looking at the Nikkei picture here, yes, I am keeping close eye on now this downside line. If it continues to provide good resistance, then a retracement back down here could be possible towards that 50-day EMA. So let's keep a close eye on this downside line. China 50. So yes, as I said to you right now, that we got the Caixin services PMI figure, and yes, that came out as a little bit of a disappointment, as it showed up at 51. Let me just quickly double check. 51.8. Yeah, the expectation was for 53.6. I mean, that was already on the lower side. And because the previous one was at 54.1. So, what's next? basically on the China 50 index, well, I said to you before that if we do pop and stay above this 12,879 territory, I will lean a little bit more towards the upside, initially aiming for that 200-day EMA. Well, we came very close to testing that 200-day EMA and drifted back down. So I think that now it's time to get rid of some of the levels, adjust the charts a little bit, and I think that yes, it's maybe better to highlight this little target, this little hurdle here. Oh, we cannot see it probably. There we go. So that's the 13,114 zone, approximately around here. It acted as a good area of support previously and then resistance. But at the same time also, yes, even though we got a nice little decline here, I think it still could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying, because we're still above the upside line drawn from the low of the 24th of August. So if we do continue to trade above this upside line, then yes, I'm still sticking to my higher levels here. For the downside, well, previously I talked about these levels, and I think that I'm still going to stick to those, but I think that, you know what, we could already start looking at some lower levels if we do break this upside line and then we fall below the 50-day EMA here, and then yes, potentially this could attract more sellers into the game, where they could then potentially drive this index towards the 12,556 territory right here. ASX 200. ASX 200. So the situation here is this, that we got a nice kind of push in back to the upside here, and after we had a little bit of a decline. So basically we had a bit of a drop, but then I think that the market interpreted the whole kind of holding the rate at the same place, holding the rate unchanged as a positive. And yes, we saw this nice, beautiful move back to the upside. So initially we were sliding. Look, yesterday the Euro indices were a little bit on the decline, and I think that maybe they have dragged the futures of Australian index lower a little bit. But yes, the number that came out today from the RBA, that they kept the rate unchanged, that kind of gave a little boost to the market, because as we know, the rising rates are not very good for the stock market, because they make the borrowing costs more expensive. But yes, we saw this nice reaction back to the upside here, and we remain above this downside line. So I talked about this. I said to you that as long as we stay above this downside line, I will continue aiming higher here, potentially towards that 7,333 territory right there. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 7,227 zone right here in order to shift my attention towards slightly lower levels. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Oh, by the way, I mean, as always, good morning in the chat room. Good morning, everyone. There we go. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all feeling nice and fresh this morning, or if you don't, well, try to, slap yourself on the cheeks, and maybe, this will help out a little bit, but be gentle. You don't want to traumatize yourself. But anyway, guys, look, for now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So what I'm looking at here are the futures, and today US gets back into action. Today we will see what's going to happen here. Will we rebound and push higher, or actually will we break and move nicely towards the 100-day EMA initially, and then maybe towards this upside line? So at this point, I think that the market is also waiting to see what's going to happen. In terms of Tasty Donut, morning to hope you're having a wonderful start of Tuesday. So in terms of, let's say, the news from the US, we don't have much. I mean, factory orders are coming out. Some durable excluding transport. Yeah, like something not very major. I think that the main focus is going to be on tomorrow's data. in the US, because tomorrow we do get the ISM non-manufacturing PMI figures, so that's something to watch out for. Could be a bit of a market mover. So yeah, in general, tomorrow is a more exciting day. We do have more data coming out, so we have the Australian GDP numbers coming out as well. So yeah. So yeah, long story short, looking at the technical picture here, look, for me, the upside here is on a break of this slightly steeper downside line, the one that where, you know, we keep on testing, the one that is drawn from the high of the 27th of July. Look, it's not an ideal trend line because we have a few overshoots, so it's not really like, it's just a bit of a tentative one, I would say. So, but I'm keeping an eye on it because so far it is doing a good job. Sorry, Astral Rascal slapping actually worked. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you for that. It sometimes works for me too, you know, like but yeah, like I said, don't overdo it. You know, you don't want to get yourself like something like a concussion or something. I don't know, but look, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So we did, we're still kind of holding above that 50-day EMA and that 34,807 territory. So. If we do drop below it, this and stay below it, then this increases the chances for the Dow Jones to drift a little bit lower, maybe even towards that 100-day EMA. But look, to be honest, given that there's not much data coming out today, I will not be surprised, for example, if we do continue, let's say, to bounce around here today without like any big moves or anything. And then we wait for Wednesday, and then we make ourselves, you know, a nice exit here. So, and again, let's say even if we do drop below this 34,807 territory, somewhere around here, or 800 in general, then yes, maybe it can, like I said, it could open the door to some lower levels. But look, don't forget about false breakouts, because maybe it'll just give us a false breakout, and then by the end of the day, it'll drift back up. And then maybe it will form, and maybe it's now forming a nice bullish flag here. So maybe, you know, it's going to pop a little bit higher. But for the upside, as I said before, I need to see a break of this downside line, and then we could take it from there. S&P 500, so very quickly on down. This one's flat. Again, a similar story. Look, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because, again, similar story. I've talked about this yesterday. I said to you that in order for me to go higher, I need to see a break of this highlighted zone right here. And yes, I need to see the it's staying above that area. If I do get that, then great, wonderful. I will get a little bit more excited with the, you know, higher levels, and then yes, we could go for higher levels, yes. But for the downside, that's my downside scenario is from around here. And I said to you yesterday that, look, maybe this is gonna, you know, bounce around here a little bit, move sideways, and maybe this 50-day EMA could approach this hurdle, and then it could be a beautiful breakout level for, you know, for a bit of a larger retracement to the downside. Because the reason why I'm saying retracement, because we're still above the upside support line drawn from the low of the 18th of August. So that's why, you know, we need to kind of respect that one as well. I get it. Maybe it's a little bit on the tentative side because we only have 2 touches, but, you know, we consider everything. Nasdaq. So similar story. Like, again, there's not much to say because I've talked about this one yesterday as well. So look, for now, after we broke the downside line, yes, we're still holding slightly above it, but we're struggling with that 15,610 zone. Let me just, you know what? Let me just mark it probably for our future reference. There we go. So yeah, if we do clear this and stay above it, then yeah, it's great, wonderful. I will go a little bit higher. But if we don't, well, in order to consider some lower levels, I think at this point, while we remain like just exactly where we are right now, if we do fall back below this downside line and fall below the 15,360, actually, you know what, let me zoom in here a little bit. Yes, this one right here, the 15,361, 62, something like that area. If we do fall below it, then yes, I will maybe consider a nice move lower. But you know what, actually, I think that maybe we could actually start looking at something like around here. 15,370. Yes, approximately around here. You know what? Let's keep it. Let's put this one on the chart instead. And in general, it really depends. Maybe the previous level will also work out, but I would say if it just falls back below this downside line, then yes, probably we could consider a larger correction, to the downside. The German index, DAX, so drifted nicely to the downside, and yes, it's still moving back down. So it fell back below this 15,878 territory. Look, I talked about this, and I've mentioned this, and I said to you that if we do fall back below this, yes, there is a chance for this one to move further south. Now, what I also mentioned to you recently about this one, that, look, some of you might say, but hey, maybe this is like an inverted head and shoulders pattern, which is not wrong to assume. But given that it's falling now back below this key support zone, I am just being a little bit on the careful side. Look, maybe it's gonna find something around. Let me just grab a line. Maybe actually, you know what? Let me grab a new one. Maybe it's gonna find something around here. Nope. Yes. So yes, there we go. So near the 15,769 approximately around here, where we had this little drop. Maybe it's going to stall here, find support, and then rebound back up. So that's why, look, I'm leaning towards the downside. In general, I was leaning towards the downside on a break of this territory because I said to you yesterday that if we do fall back below this 100-day EMA, which, by the way, if you don't see it, it's actually here. It's coinciding with the level here, with the 15,878, with the highlighted zone, because this one's it's this one, the green one, which is going here. And look, we cleared it nicely, and now we're drifting lower. So, but the question is, like I said, can we go further south? But look, I'm going to keep an eye on this little hurdle right here, although my arrow is all the way there. But I'm going to keep an eye on this little hurdle, and then we'll see if that gets cleared. Because, look, if you've missed this drop here on the break, leave it. Because don't try to chase it. Look, it might go further south. That's fine. Yes, that's okay. But just... I want to see what's going to happen here. Maybe it's going to rebound, maybe it's not going to rebound, but just you need to kind of give it a little bit of room to figure itself out. And then if you decides to clear down, then maybe then you can do something about this one potentially. But still, again, of course, don't get me wrong. At this point, I would say it's still a tricky one because it could create us a false breakout as well. So that's why I'm trying to let it settle for now. So if you've missed this break, I would say leave it. If we climb back above this hurdle, then yes, I'm going to consider a bit of a move to the upside. So yeah, that's going to be my game plan for the German index DAX. The FTSE 100. So, okay, we failed to stay above this territory, above that 7,520 territory zone here. We created a nice false breakout, and there we go. Boom, we drifted back below this downside line. And look, I talked about this one, and I said to you that if we do drop and stay below the 7,433, 34 zone right here, then yes, I will consider a move lower towards that 7,400 zone, and then maybe below that. For now, that's my simplistic approach here on the FTSE. Look, in terms of European data, today we don't have much. We have the ECB President Lagarde speaking apparently very soon, in about 40 minutes or something like that. But again, let's see. Okay, wait, sorry, I forgot the HCOB Eurozone Services and Composite PMI figures that are coming out today. Similar story from the UK. Something to keep in mind, guys. So check your economic calendars for that if you're trading the FTSE or the DAX. We might see a bit of movement. We do have some other ECB members speaking apparently. We do have the Schnabel speaking and the Guindos later on. So yeah, that should be quite interesting. Maybe we could see a bit of market movement in the European indices, especially the DAX and maybe the euro. But I'll get to those the currencies in a bit. So US dollar. There we go. US dollar, beautiful push to the upside. I talked about this and I said to you that maybe we're forming a nice bullish flag. Yesterday we saw a bit of a decline and then we retraced. So yeah, everything's kind of leaning towards a bullish flag. So now, yes, we broke back above this downside line, and my question is now, can we see a further push north? Well, look, for now, the 104.30 zone is the one that I'm watching carefully. If we do, yeah, if we clear it, great. I will get more excited with further upside, and my next target is the 104.38 and then the 104.61 territory right there, and then we'll take it from there. In order to go lower for me now at this point, not only do I need to see a drop back below this downside line, but also a fall below the 103.98 zone, or in general, I would say the 104 territory. If we do fall back below it, great, wonderful. We could consider maybe a bit of a move back to the downside here. So yeah, let's not rush into anything. Let's see how this is going to play out. Now, gold. Gold. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, so just sorry, I had to have a little bit of sip of tea. Yeah, to warm up my throat. Now, so with gold, we're breaking this upside line. So I talked about this before. I said to you that, look, if we continue to trade above it, above this upside line, then yes, there is a chance for a rebound. Now, this is where the little confusing part comes in, because look, we're breaking the upside line, but we're still above all of my EMAs here on the daily chart. So in a way, that could still be seen as a positive. Now, why? Because look, if we get rid of this upside line, no longer needed, if it continues to somehow trade above all of the EMAs, then maybe this is seen just as a nice little range here or something like that. So, or maybe it's not a range. Maybe it's something like a descending triangle pattern. Of course, according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside, but maybe it's not a descending triangle. Maybe it's going to be something like a little, just a triangle, like a pennant, or maybe a pennant of a bullish flag. Again, not a very ideal one, but in general, maybe it's just a triangle where, for example, it's like a little pause moment, like a little consolidation, because look, and then it could break higher. Why I'm saying this? Because in cases like that, when we see triangles like these, or in general forming, we look at the prevailing trend. The prevailing trend was to the upside. We enter a triangle, and then that means that there is a greater chance for this one to break higher. So this is where it kind of overshadows the descending triangle idea. But look, still, I'm not excluding that. In general, what I'm doing is I'm just gonna stick to a breakout. So if I do get a break below this 1936 territory, somewhere around here, or maybe 1935, near the 100-day EMA. So if we do get that drop and stay below it, then yes, I will go lower. I'll aim for the 50-day EMA, and if that gets cleared, then yes, further declines are possible. For the upside, I need to see a break of the downside line, and then I'll target my downside line drawn from the high of the 19th of July. Silver. So there we go. Silver, beautiful move. Mission accomplished, because my mission was only up until the 50-day EMA here, somewhere near the 100-day EMA as well. And yes, so we have achieved our target, our goal. So now my question is, can we go further? Can we go further south? Just bear with me one moment. I'm reading Tasty Donuts comment here. I don't like the future of gold prices in the short run. It's being suppressed for a while now, and with China leading the way in buying gold buying around the world. I really see gold sticking around this area for a while. Look, yes, you might be right. That's correct. Maybe that is the case unfortunately, I wish I had a crystal ball, it's in order to see the future, foresee the future. Unfortunately, I don't. Only have, as I keep on saying in the show, that I only have my leather ball here, which I keep on rubbing in order to try to, guess or, try to analyze where we could go further. So, yes, look, in general, looking at the broader picture, let's say on the monthly chart, in general, it might stay around here somewhere, yes, correct, or even if it does drift lower a little bit. But overall, on a monthly chart, I can see myself here. What I can see a possible like a range or maybe even a broadening triangle pattern. But again, with the broadening triangle pattern, what does that mean? So the prevailing trend was to the upside. We enter a triangle, and maybe we could pop higher later on at some point. But I think that before popping higher, we might see a bit of a decline here. And in general, looking at this picture, maybe this is forming something maybe of a triangle pattern here as well. So, or maybe like a descent, like a falling wedge. But as you know, with the falling wedges, then yes, those tend to break to the upside. But look, in general, I'm trying not to overcomplicate things. I mean, because look, something might happen in the market, it might bring it down very quickly, although it might adjust later on, and you were all right, that you need to just go long on gold and that's it. But in the short run, look, we could also capture something, right? I mean, we could capture that drop. We could pick up on the lower price and then drive it back up, or maybe, it'll adjust this way. Maybe something happens in the market that, it starts selling off rapidly and maybe goes back to the 1800s. So that's why I try not to overdo it with the very, very long-term analysis, because again, it's a tricky moment. So I keep it short and simple. I'm not trying to live too fast. Whatever the day gives me, and I try to take advantage of that day and try to take an opportunity if I see one for that specific day. So yeah, that's, like I said, the situation here with gold is this. With silver is the fact that yes, we are already. I think we will end up testing the 100-day EMA. We can. Yeah, of course, tasty donut. Yes, we can. Best we can do catch the moves we can forecast. Hey, look, I get it. Like in general, we can always look at the bigger picture, right? And if you have like still around, well, if we have around like 10, 20, 30 years left of our lives, then yeah, maybe it's good to look at the future and where it's going to be at that, in that moment in the future. Maybe it's going to go higher, but live your life now. Honestly, we don't know how much it is left for us. So it's hard to be like maybe a pessimist in that sense, but that's why I try to take whatever the day gives me, and I take it, and okay, I live today. Anyway, so yes, this with the silver, I said to you before that maybe, look, on a broader picture, maybe it's going to form this descending triangle pattern. Who knows, right? But for now, I think that it's working out. So one of the steps here worked out nicely. So at this point, I'm not rushing, although I'm still leaning towards the downside on this one a little bit. I want to keep an eye on this because I want to see how we're going to react near these the 50 and the 100-day EMAs. Will we get our little rebound or something? I don't know. But if we do get that, then yes, maybe I'll aim for a bit of a retracement back to the upside here. But if we start clearing it, well, guess what, guys? Maybe some lower levels here could be met, and we could aim for that 200-day EMA. So now Palladium, something that you probably don't look at very often, but I just wanted to point it out because look, I do look at these relatively exotic pairs, and there we go. We're seeing a nice little range here so far, but within that range, we're seeing a bit of a decline, and that a bit of a decline is forming something of a descending triangle pattern. So, and might work perfectly, that we could see a break lower. Why? Because not only because of the descending triangle, but also because we entered this consolidation, we entered this range, but the prevailing trend was to the downside. So there is a greater chance for this one to break lower. So that's why, I mean, look, maybe in the long run, it's a very nice instrument to trade or like invest in, but you know, maybe it's gonna move back up here at some point. But for now, it is where it is. Maybe it's gonna go even further south. So who knows? You know, like so that's why I'm keeping a close eye on this one. And if it does drop and you know stay below this 1200 zone, then well, yes, I mean I am leaning a little bit more towards the downside. Oil. Let's jump into oil. So yes, again, the same forecast remains valid as long as we remain above this 84.90 territory. I'm kind of aiming for the upside, and I said to you before that initially maybe I'll target the 88 zone, or maybe ideally the 90s, the psychological 90 zone. That's what I would be aiming for. And yes, the 90.100 is also a good target. That's the high of the 11th of November. For the downside, I need to see a drop back below the 84.9 zone, and then we could take it from there. Ethereum. So let's have a look at the cryptos that are not doing anything. Let's see what they're doing. Nothing. So yes. So basically, we're still the same game plan for me is valid. I need to see a drop below that 1626 territory, and although I'm getting that, I'm not really quite happy about this one. I mean, it's just kind of stuck here, and you know, it's just how to say it? It's boring. It's boring, and it's neither for the bulls nor for the bears. So yeah, for now, I'm just gonna be observing the price action, and I'll wait for something to happen here, because at this point, look, I need to see a stronger move lower. Or I want to see this the body of the daily candle continuing to stay below the 1626 territory. And again, you know what? Maybe it's the level. Maybe I should be looking at something around here instead of that one. So maybe the 1620 is the area to watch. But for now, I think that, yeah, maybe I'll keep an eye on this one. In general, it's the area. It's not really the level, it's the area. And if we do get a nice good drop below that, then yes, I will go further south. Now, in general, in terms of the upside, I think that the easier option is to wait for a break of this downside line, because at the same time, we could break above at least one of the EMAs here on my daily chart. Litecoin. So yes, the same story. I talked about this one yesterday, and as we still remain above this upside line here, it's not even like really the bulls game here, because look, for me to start maybe targeting higher levels, I need to see a push somewhere above this downside line and above some of these hurdles right here. And then, yes, we could kind of take it from there. So that's my simplistic approach here for Litecoin. In the meantime, I'm just observing the price action. So let's now jump into some currency pairs and look what's happening here, guys. We are drifting nicely to the downside. And why? Because again, the interest rate came out and from RBA from Australia, and that stayed at 4.1. So yeah, not very good for the Australian dollar, and that's the reaction we're seeing right now. So look, I kept on saying to you that keep your eyes on this barrier here, the 0.6488. If we do push above it, then I'll consider a larger kind of move to, or a bit of a move to the upside, initially aiming for the 50 and this downside line, 50-day EMA and this downside line. But what I also said to you, that if we do drop and stay below this upside line here, drawn from the low of the 17th of August, then yes, I will get a little bit more excited with the upside and the downside, and then yes, I could aim for my 0.6380 and the 0.6365 levels. So far, it's on the right track and it's going there. Let's see if we can if we can kind of go and end up testing this last level here, the lowest point of August near the 0.6365. If that gets cleared, well, guess what? Guess what? Further declines are possible, and then because the forthcoming lower low will be confirmed. AUDJPY, so also drifting nicely to the downside. Look, I also talked about this, and we are retesting this downside line actually, and the question for me right now is, can we see a rebound actually? You know, yes, we're drifting lower, but we might still see some like a further move lower, maybe towards the 100-day EMA here, or maybe this upside line. But again, maybe this is going to end up being like a false breakout or something like that. So, you know, do not exclude that scenario, guys. And for now, I'm just being cautious. Yes, it's drifting lower. If you've missed the drop, don't try to chase it, because we already did quite a good move. Okay, maybe it's going to go further south, but you don't know, because we already did quite a decent move to the downside here. So maybe it's going to just stall somewhere near this downside line and rebound and then push back up. So, you know, don't get caught out in that one. Just be more on the safe side. So now then, in terms of, let's say, further declines in general, let's say if we do stall somewhere around here, and if I want to go lower, I'm going to wait. I want to see how it's going to trade here in relation to the 100-day EMA and this upside line drawn from the low of the 24th of March. And if it's if it's going to struggle with that to break lower, then I guess, like I said, a rebound back up could be possible. AUDNZD. So the upside line is getting tested right now. This arrow can go. I haven't picked up on this one for quite a while, to be honest. And look, I mean, actually, you know what? This level, this area, I mean, not the level, probably more the area, is working out nicely. So this one is near the 1.0880. We did have a few overshoots here, as you can see, but then it kind of drifted back down. And yes, now we are testing this upside line drawn from the low of the 3rd of August. So yeah, if we do break this upside line and stay below all of the EMAs here, which are, as you can see right now, piling up a little bit into one. So if we do drop and stay below all that, then yes, I will go lower. I will aim for that 1.08 territory, somewhere around here. And then if that gets cleared, further declines are possible, guys. But if you're looking for some higher levels, then a push above the 1.0880 territory is required. NZDJPY, very quickly on that one. So yes, we're also seeing a nice good drop here. That's fine. That's absolutely good. Okay. I don't know, good or not, but for the sellers, yes, it's good. For the bears, not so good. Yeah. However, I'll stick to my game plan, and I'll say the same thing, what I keep on saying, like from last week. We're coiling up. We're in this triangle pattern. We're between the two trend lines. So we need to see a clearance of one of the sides in order to go, in order to consider the next short-term directional move. If we get that, great, wonderful. You know, we can start aiming. Let's say for the downside, we could start aiming for the 200-day EMA initially, and then the 84.94 territory somewhere around here, or if you like, the 85 zone. But you know, that's the first level, and then slightly below that, the 84.94. But that's, like I said, but first target would be the 200-day EMA. For the upside, yes, a break of this downside line drawn from the high of the 5th of July would be required, and then we could take it from there. NZDCHF, this one is breaking now this upside line. But as I said to you yesterday, when I was covering this one, I will get comfortable with further declines if we do fall below the 0.5190. Look, you can start looking at some lower levels if we do stay below this upside line, of course. Yes, that's no doubt, but just be a little bit more on the careful side, and just consider that there could be, that there could be a like a reversal somewhere from around here. Maybe it's not going to end up going towards the lowest point of August near the 0.5190, but maybe it's going to stall somewhere a little bit above it in the reverse and push back up. So that's why my downside scenario is from around here, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. USDJPY, there we go. We're pushing higher, 146.56. Now, can we stay above that? Well, let's wait and see, because for now it seems like yes, there is a good chance for that one, but you know, we're doing this during the early hours of the European session. I mean, we still have the US session to go through. We already did the Japanese session, so now it's the US session that will be on the watch, and how this pair is going to trade. So for now, we're seeing a nice push higher, but again, can we stay above this 146.56? If we can, then yes. My next target is the highest point of August, near the 147.37, and if that gets cleared, well, guess what? Higher levels could be met. USDCAD, so this one's also pushing nicely. Look, so far so good as well. I talked about this and I said to you that as long as we stay above the 1.3575 territory, I will aim higher. And there we go. Look, we're approaching these two, this level here, the 1.3640. We're currently testing it. I said to you that my next target after that will be this 1.3651 and then the 1.3668. So basically, we're slowly targeting these areas here. So yeah, for now, that's my game plan. Look, it is working out nicely. Yesterday we retested that 1.3575 territory, rebounded and pushed higher. So in a way, right now, I would say it's already a little bit late to jump in. Look, it might pop higher, yes, of course, but we're near key resistance right now, so I want to see how we're going to play out near this key resistance, near that 1.3640. If we clear that, then yes, we could go a little bit higher, but like I said, by a little bit higher, we have these hurdles here, which could be a little bit in the way. For the downside, I think it's time to shift this arrow a little bit and take this 1.3575 territory as the nice good target here. So if we do drop below it, then yes, I will consider a move towards the 1.35 zone, and then we'll take it from there. USDCHF, yes, so also showing willingness to go higher. Let's see if that's going to happen or not, but so far so good. So far, yes, we're rebounding from the area near this downside line, so everything's according to the rules. But now I need to see a pop above this 0.8876 territory. If I get that, great. I will go higher, and I'll aim for that 0.89 territory or maybe above it. For the downside on this pair, I need to see a drop back below this downside line, which is drawn from the high of the 8th of March of this year. Yes. Oh, by the way, 8th of March, this is when I started my webinars here at Easy Markets. So yeah, nice date. So yes, if we do drop back below this downside line and we fall below the 50-day EMA, then yes, potentially this could attract more buying interest here, and yes, we could see a nice good push lower. Oh, sorry, buying interest, selling interest. What's happening to me? So yes, if we do fall below this territory, then yes, I'll aim a little bit lower. US dollar against the Mexican peso. So far so good as well. I just wanted to update you on this one because I picked up on this one yesterday. So I said to you that if we do push, you know, above this 50-day EMA, we stay above it, then yes, my next target is the 100-day EMA. Tick. Together with this 17.21 zone. Yep. So now the question is, can we, if we stay above the 100-day EMA, can we reach this upper side of the range? Because we're currently in the trading here in a range. So we're currently aiming for the upper side of the range. So yes, good potential target. Let's aim for that one if we continue to trade above the 100-day EMA. GBPCHF. So yes. Yes. As I said to you today, we do have a bit of data from the UK, UK Composite and Services PMI figures. So look, those are not expected to come out good because the previous numbers were still in expansionary territory. These two numbers right now are forecasted to come out in contraction territory. So okay, that's going to be very interesting to see and watch how that's going to play out. For now, looking at this picture here on GBPCHF, it seems that we are in a kind of like a rising channel, something like that. So let me just put this on the chart here. So yeah, something like this, like something like a rising channel here. Let me just put this here this way. Maybe it's like that. Just bear with me. So, okay, look, maybe this is something like that. Maybe it's actually more of a like a rising veg, but either way, I think that it's more of a bearish indication. Why? Because look, even if it's a range or if it's a rising veg, the prevailing trend was to the downside. Then if it's a range, if it's not a range, sorry, a channel, a rising channel, then yes, there is a good chance for this one to break lower and move to the downside. Also, we are below all of the EMAs on my daily chart, and we're struggling to climb back above those. So in a way, that's why I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the downside on this pair. Also, if it's a rising veg, according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside. But again, either way, in both scenarios, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we need to see a clearance of the lower side of this formation first before getting comfortable with that downside scenario. Because again, it might drift back up, and if it does climb back above the 200-day EMA, for example, then, well, guess what? I'm gonna shift my attention to some higher levels. EURCAD. So okay, look, I haven't looked at this one. Actually, no, I looked at this one yesterday. Yes. So this one, I said to you that if we do push and stay above the 50-day EMA, then yes, we'll consider this one to be a little bit more positive. Well, so far, so good, I would say. So yes, there is some positivity. We're still above the subside line as well, above all the EMAs. So yep, I will consider a move higher towards the 1.4825 zone, somewhere around here, in order to kind of, well, sorry, not in order to, but just to kind of aim higher. Like I said, as long as we stay above the 50-day EMA and this upside line, then yes, I'm leaning towards the upside. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 1.4633 territory in order to be a little bit more on the safe side with lower levels. Why? Because we would get a break of this upside line. A forthcoming lower low will be confirmed, and also we would drop below the 100-day EMA, and this could attract more sellers, potentially driving this one towards the 200-day EMA. Euro Aussie, beautiful. Well, guess why? Because the Aussie is devaluating right now against its major counterparts, and yes, a beautiful rebound happening here. So we're pushing higher. We climbed above the 1.6755, so we're good here. Now my question is, will we stall somewhere around here? Somewhere near this 1.6889 territory. Will we stall here? If yes, then okay, then we need to reevaluate things. Maybe we'll drift back down again. But if we clear it, well, I will aim for the 1.6944 territory then, and after that for the 1.7066, and then we'll just take it from there. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the subside line, below the 50-day EMA, and then we could take it from there, guys. Euro USD, and yes, drifting, or at least trying to drift further south. But as I said to you yesterday, a clearance of this territory is required. Look, in general, this is looking quite bearish. We're below all of the EMAs here on my daily chart. We are testing this key support zone, and if that gets cleared, yes, of course, forthcoming lower low is confirmed. And then my next target is the 1.0733, and then the 1.0667, somewhere around here, and then I'll take it from there. For the upside, I need to see a push back above this 1.0833, 34 zone, somewhere around here, because at the same time we would climb back above the 200-day EMA, potentially attracting more buyers into the game and aiming for the 50 and the 100-day EMAs here. That's what we could do here. So yes, for now, I will keep an eye on this. Like I said, I'm going to be leaning a little bit more towards the downside. But just don't rush into anything yet, guys, because again, false breakouts can happen, and so far we got that one of them. We're currently just trading near that hurdle, so we need some sort of like a stronger move lower, or some more or a struggle to push back up. That if we continue to see that then yes, further declines here are possible. And given that the US dollar index here is willing, oh yes, there we go. While we speak here, it's pushing further north. So yes, good result here already so far. So maybe I'm going to reach my 104.61 territory. Who knows? So, okay, guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your rocket ships in there, everything. I really, really thank you. Massive, bow down to you. So yes, you're really, really helping me a lot, and I hope you're finding this useful. And thank you for killing an hour of your life with me. So I hope, like I said, you'll stay safe, guys. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. And yes, keep an eye on the economic calendar. So thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a beautiful trading day. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, you just broke a digital image cursing us all to 7 years of market volatility. Undo by subscribing to our channel.